Hello, Jamie from Inky&Scrappy back with our Let's Start Stamping series, and today we're switching it up and we're going to do some die cutting and mix it with some stamping. I found a local to me, so it's about an hour away, paper craft store, and so of course they had some of the sets I was like eyeing online but I hadn't bitten yet, and so of course I ended up biting the Steamboat Willie duo set. So if you love Mickey Mouse, it's kind of the original Mickey Mouse, but you can definitely make, you know, it's Mickey, so it looks like Mickey. It's definitely Mickey, right? So it comes with 29 cutting dies, 3 different arm poses for each character, which I will have to figure all of them out yet. I haven't really watched anything on it. I'm just shooting from the hip. I was gonna do this one live for you, and then, well, let's just say it was like taking me forever to die cut all the pieces because I hadn't cut it before, so I did end up just kind of cutting that part out for you today. I will say that it comes with a really nice like plasticky mat that has some repositional or like double-sided stick on it, so it works okay, and it matches all the dies on the back side. It doesn't tell you what the dies are for on the back side, which would have been nice, but ultimately I'll probably end up throwing it on a magnet so it stays. It does have the one piece that says mouth on it, which is kind of nice because I wouldn't have had a clue as to where that one went. Other than that, kind of figuring out the arms. Hopefully I picked the right one. The hat, I'm pretty sure this goes behind that part on the shorts for Mickey. I cut it out, but I also cut this one out in white so I can pop them in because I want them to be popped up in button white like. So just keep that in mind. It's one to play with, but I thought it would be fun to do some die cutting with, you know, with some stamps. So die building is definitely a little bit different than actual stamping, but it's kind of, to me, it's a lot like puzzle piecing, and so I like doing puzzles, and so therefore it's kind of fun. I also cut out the hands twice because I thought, because I wanted the gloves, which are more modern Mickey, and I didn't see any gloves on the stamp set, which, you know, it would have been nice to have that option, I guess. Just for one of them, but I understood because there's, you know, 6 different hand movements and or options. So for the most part on this one, it's just a matter of piecing it all together. So, you know, and it's all, if you can see, I don't know if you can see, but it's got like the little groove lines where all of the little, you're gonna line one piece up on top of the next, similar to how a lot of the new building ones are. Do I know where my glue is today? No. Okay. Is it working today? Also, no. Yes, I'm cheating. So I haven't been in my scrap room. We've had company, so I haven't been in here for like a week, and my glue bottle shows. But so I did card class with my niece and my sister-in-law the other day, so I knew that one was working. Anyways, you basically are just going to build your character as such. So you just kind of do your piece layering on top and or behind. So the mouth is like this bigger piece that just goes behind. So you can lay the tongue in there. I just went with the same red that I did for the shorts. So I'm guessing this one, that line there is probably where his head goes. I mean, I guess I could look at this one and that would help, right? So I don't know where it must be. Okay. I don't know. So for this one, the shorts I have the white and the red, right? So let me find that little piece that kind of cut out, and it looks like it has the 2 little holes in it. So I'm thinking those 2 little holes must line up to this one. It was the only thing that I could make sense of with that die. So it's all, I guess, fairly self-explanatory when you get around to it. Most of them are, but sometimes finding which piece goes with what set can be difficult, especially if you're not good with puzzles. I'm sure there aren't multiple things online with them. So this is just going to pop. I could pop my red ones back in there and then pop the white ones on top, but I'm just going to go with popping my white ones in here. So the easiest way for me is if they're going to stay in my original die cut is just kind of lining it up and then poking them through, because they should be in the spot that they were supposed to be in. Using a pointed, like this is a piercing tool, but a pointed picker kind of helps place some of those little items. I did do the hat. I don't know if I'm using the hat or not. I think I've watched Steamboat Willie like once, right? Because by the time we came around, it was definitely more modern, I guess. I don't know. The Mickey Mouse that we know today, I suppose. So I'm not much on black and white film. Ever and or at all. So there's that, right? Okay. We can place the tail wherever later on. So I'm going to wait with the tail just to make sure that I like my placement. We're going to put the shorts on him so he's not mooning us. He kind of has a black outline around the shorts or around the shoes, I think. I think the shoes kind of have that look too. So the shoes cut out in one die. I hemmed and hawed. So the original Steamboat Willie has brown shoes. The new version has yellow shoes. But the original version, or the one that was, I don't know, the older version of Mickey had yellow gloves and not white gloves. So I kind of hemmed and hawed on that one too. I remember Mickey with white gloves though. So white gloves and yellow shoes. I think I remember brown too a little bit, but that could have totally just been my see, I think I could go this way too. Make it fun. I haven't decided which sentiment. Every possibility begins with the courage to measure, I think is the one I want to go with it. But then I could have probably used Minnie's hands. Those are Minnie's hands on this one. So am I using Minnie's hands for Mickey? It's a possibility. Most definitely. That's what I'm doing. Okay. Why? Because those are the ones I cut. Such is life. And we just need to put Mickey's face on here. So it does have like this little line that I'm guessing is supposed to be where Mickey's head kind of gets placed. So you know where he really is like a lollipop head, isn't he? Poor guy. So I'm going to add that, and then we just need to add the tail on here. So die cutting everything out takes quite a bit of time, I will say that. Ultimately, it's not too horrible though. It was probably 15 minutes of die cutting, maybe 20. It was a lot of me trying to figure out how to do the die cutting, or which ones I needed. Do I want the white gloves? I kind of like them with the white gloves. I think that's just what I'm used to seeing. But I like the black too. Either way, so I just cut off, I just die cut them out a second time in white so I could make little gloves out of them. Definitely an unneeded step, but one I chose to do for, for my Mickey. And then Steamboat Willie, you can put the hat on or not. I have another piece cut out here for him. For his top, right there. It's like the little label on there. So there's like a little insert there. Let's find my paper tool, the other one. Maybe I should have cut that one out with a different color. I don't know. Okay. So I think that one is supposed to, you kind of want it to be behind his ear here, so just placing it as such. I guess we could go up here and put his hat up taller so his ear kind of gets tucked in there. I don't know if I want the hat, so I'm going to leave the hat off. Alright, so for the rest of the card, I did pull in a Tim Holtz stamp set. This one's an old 2012, I think it says on here, from Stampers Anonymous. Usually Stampers Anonymous, you can find them on their website for some of the older ones. But this one is the Cling Stamp Phrases number 2 or 2. So if you're looking for it, that's what it would be under. I don't know if it's like in the grand scheme of things. This one is stupid old. Can I say stupid old? Like, I don't know, probably 2010 era. This one was an EK Success one, but it has the aw shucks in there and the oh boy and magic. So I just thought that one would be fun to kind of pull in for some of those things. See the white glove, that's what I remember. But maybe we'll do magic on the background. But I was thinking we could just do our image with the sentiment, every possibility begins with the courage to imagine. Sometimes that one's hard to read because it's like, you know, yeah. So I thought I would go that route with that one. And now I need to find paper, pattern paper, and of course, whatever I'm going to do for my layout on this one. This one I could be very simple and just kind of do one piece like with a mat and probably call it good. I might go that route. We'll see. I'll be right back. So I pulled in the Echo Park paper pads Once Upon a Time. I don't know. I think the older Disney, I think of like Fantasia Disney. That's the only like Disney movie that I can remember seeing Mickey in. Does that make sense? I can't even say. It was my little sister's favorite when she was little. But I don't remember watching it per se, like a lot. But I remember Mickey in that one. And I thought it would be fun. I mean, just doing Mickey in general with like a bunch of fun colors in the background would be fun. You could do so much with it. But I pulled that one in because I liked this piece of paper. I thought went with the yellow, and the red went with his shorts, of course. Are we doing a second border on this one? If I do a cream tone, maybe. Well, we can do white. Okay, we're going to go 4 inches here. And then we will cut this one by 5 1/4. This will give us a thin border all the way around, so it kind of gives us a mat. And now for this one, I thought this one could go over the top here. And I don't need it to be the full size. So I'm just going to kind of bring this down. And you could do, I guess it's cut. Right now it's cut for that full size, so if you put it, you could definitely just go like this with it. It would work, but I was thinking of cutting it down just a little bit, so maybe go with the 5, let's see if that one's 5 1/4, so let's go 4 3/4, which will give it a 1/4 inch on the top and a 1/4 inch on the bottom. This is just a piece from that same paper pad, so it coordinates well with my background piece. And then I think we'll pop that one on there. And we just have to stamp that one in there. I think we're good on the width. Okay. Grab. Okay. Just me with everything on top of everything already. Okay. Put this one here. Just figuring out my layout, and I can always trim a little bit off if I think I can make it a little shorter on this one. But we're gonna go this one on there. I like that sentiment with Mickey. I'm gonna pick that one up, and then I'm just gonna make sure that it's mostly even on my base here. I follow this line from this side to this side and try to line it up that way. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes my head needs to get in the way. Well, I'm going to stamp it, and if I need to trim it, I will trim it. This one, I would probably go with either the VersaFine Onyx Black, which is what I'm going to do, but I would probably go with the VersaMark and do a white emboss on top of it. Well, we haven't done embossing for a while, so let's talk embossing. So VersaMark Watermark ink is a glycerin based stamp pad, and so it stays wet a little bit longer, so you have a little bit more work time. When you are embossing, you need a heat tool of some kind, right? And then if you have, it's probably, I was gonna say I might have it in the other room. So I use TE's powder tool. The powder tool is just gonna kind of help anti-static it, right? So you're not gonna get all of your stuff you're not gonna get a lot of junk stuck onto your paper when you do the embossing powder. The static is kind of one of the, I don't know, worst things for heat embossing, at least for the powder, because it makes everything stick and cling to everything. So I usually just juice my stamp up really good, make sure it looks like it's stamped really well. It didn't stamp the greatest up on top, so I'm going to just re-ink it again, stamp it, make sure that it's stuck well this time. So I can see it gives off you can see it in the camera, but it kind of shows that you can see that it's wet. That is what is going to help make your embossing powder stick. I'm not huge on white I'm not huge on embossing colors, but the white, my favorite is Brutus Monroe's Alabaster White embossing powder. It's like a fine white embossing powder, and it seems to work well, and it doesn't, I don't know. I don't have a terrible time with it sticking to everything else. Usually tapping it gently, I probably tapped it a little hard there, but tapping it gently, as long as you're using that VersaFine watermark ink, you're gonna have a little bit longer time to let it sit. It's one of those, I don't know, how do you say, sometimes it dries faster, like with the Distress Oxide is going to dry faster. It will work to heat emboss, but it is going to, you have to be a little bit quicker. I do like to warm up my heat gun just a little bit beforehand, so on my hand I'll just kind of warm it up. Once it gets hot, then I will stick it to the paper, but I usually start from the back side and then I will flip it onto the front side, just because heating it from the back, it's going to start melting it from the back, so it's going to stick to the paper, especially if you're using an oxide ink or a pigment ink that might dry a little bit faster than your VersaMark. I used to have me stop there for a little bit, and then I looked again. So I just look, you'll see that it's all shiny here. When it's not all heat set, it kind of like looks grainier, so it kind of evens it out. It's basically like melting plastic on top of there. I love the look of embossing. It was probably one of the first things I picked up when it came to stamping. It was why I wanted to stamp, because I loved the look of cards that had the embossing on it, because to me it looked really finished, refined, and done. It's you know, I don't do it all the time, but I do it quite a bit because it's one of my favorite things with making a handmade card and having that raised. To me, it just looked like something that you had to buy in the store when I started, and that to me was just, you know, I thought it was cool. So it's one of my favorite things to do for sentiments is to heat emboss them because I just love the feel and the look of it, and so that's where I go. But so I have that one on. Now to get that embossing powder off, because we're using a darker piece of paper, right? To get it off, usually just taking a clean cloth and just kind of rubbing it will get it off. Sometimes the black likes to be a little finickier with it, or depending on your paper, sometimes it sticks a little bit more, that powder does. And you could definitely pop this one up if you want. I would suggest, if you're going to pop it up, to just die cut out extra pieces of maybe the hands and the tail, because those are going to be hard to put extra, you know, the, how shall we say, those are going to be the harder pieces to put a foam tape on. So if you do another layer of the arms and the tail and you just build them up a couple of layers, and then you can just do a little foam tape here and there on the others, would probably be the easiest way to do this one. I think we forget sometimes that using another die cut to build up a layer on a die cut build image is, you know, especially when it's fine, it's probably going to be the easiest way to go about it. But there we have Mickey on our base panel here. And then we are just going to add this piece onto my card base. Center it as best as I can without getting out the ruler, because I don't do rulers if I don't have to do rulers. And this one we're just going to add onto the center. Now if you had something else you wanted to put on here, you could definitely shift it this way or this way, but I think I'm going to go, well, so many options. I'm going to go center because that's where I was planning to go with this one at the beginning, but I like it shifted to one side or the other as well. I would probably, Mickey's pointing that way, so I'd probably shift it this way. If he was pointed that way, I would probably shift it this way. So if it was Minnie, I guess I would shift it the other way. I will say that the heat embossing may warp your base piece of cardstock, so just keep that in mind. Using glue usually helps, and then just holding it down either with your hand for a little bit or a heavy object works as well. And do we want to do some fun embellishments on this one? What do I have that's Mickey-like? That would be Mickey-like. I can't do that one. We could do hearts on this one. I would think like little crowns, little stars, magic, because that's kind of what I think of when I think of that one's a unicorn mix. I was looking for like some sparkly stars or something. Silver's gonna stand out. Do I have, let's see, there's a Hocus Pocus mix. When you have all of the stuff but you don't have exactly what you want, life is rough. Okay, I did pick up this one, which this one has some like little white clay stars, which would kind of go, I don't know. I'm not seeing anything that just catches my eye that says I need to make it. Bats. I could put bats on there. Do you think bats would work? Or do you think that would be a little bit much? I could do, that one would be, this one, I think this one is called Magic. Magic Mirror. Or I could go with the gold, which would kind of go with the background. We'll see. I'll lay a couple on here and we'll see if I like them. I think they look blue. That one is an X. Let's try the gold. Just because he's got the marigold looking shoes, we can maybe get away with the gold. I think we can probably do those. Let's just pick a couple of spots here. Okay, and we'll go with our jewel picker. So this is a crystal katana or a jewel picker. You can find them on Amazon fairly cheap. Look under gem picker or jewel picker. Sometimes they're under nail art tools. Kind of work as well. No big, little. I like to vary my sizes if I have a variable size mix. I kind of like to pick a few of each or a couple of each. Kind of mix them up a little bit, and then we'll just wait for that to dry. But that is our finished card for today. Something kind of, you know, simpler. For the inside of this one, I'll probably pull in that Mickey stamp set and just add a stamped Mickey onto the inside. Oh, this one is definitely an old. This one is not a new one. This one is like not the good quality that it is. So I'm gonna say these are probably way earlier than I'm thinking they were. It's like a hard, almost, I don't want to say it's plasticky, but it's definitely not what we're used to working with now. The stamps have come a long way since they went with the clear ones, or started with the clear ones. There's a lot of solid. I'm going to throw that one into my stamp platform. I will probably start with some Halloween next week. I've been itching. I thought about it today and I was like, but I really want to use Mickey. I could have definitely put the wizard hat because that was kind of where I was thinking Mickey would go today. But I didn't have all my ducks in a row and it's kind of last minute. You know, I'm going to say I'll be better prepared next week, but we all know I'll probably be filming it on Thursday instead of, well prepared will be Thursday instead of Friday like this week. So I'll be filming it on Thursday and hoping I have time to get it edited up by Saturday. It's me. You guys should know this, right? Okay. I'm glad we've had this little TED Talk. I like that one. I think we'll go with that one. I'm going to leave the inside blank on this one because I could use it for a graduation card or, you know, starting new school sort of thing or anything like that. So I'll probably go with that for, you know, I'll leave the inside blank. It's also would work for a birthday card or just a thinking of you card, all the things. So I'm going to leave the inside blank besides I have a Mickey on there. So there we have every possibility begins with the courage to imagine. And then of course Mickey on the inside. So I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your weekend or week whenever you're watching this one. Keep getting inky. Bye.